I think it was last year I picked up some Mimosa, and I've made a couple turnings out of it. It's really pretty wood. Well, this was laying with the stuff they were throwing away. It looks like it was part of the root ball system. It's quite an ugly piece, but I see the grain in here is very interesting. But I can't mount it this way to get the largest turning out of it because this is all kind of separated right there. So what I'm hoping to do is turn it between the centers this way. I'll have to figure out how to locate a center on this end, and I'll be back when I figure that out, and we'll see what we can do. Okay, what I've done is this is just a scrap piece of wood that I have a tenon on it. It was just a cutoff from something I made. I've hot glued it onto the end of this. I'm going to go ahead and turn it around just to have a look at what we have. Alright, got it in my chuck. I have a fairly solid place right back here for my cone center. And so now we'll see what we can find in here. Start with a 5/8 bowl gouge. Definitely get my face shield on. Start out at 650. I will use my favorite tool for this type of work. See if there's actually anything worth messing with. Once I realized how bouncy the cuts were, I decided to turn a tenon into the piece itself. I did this off camera, and it is now remounted in the chuck. I'm going to work on getting it a little rounder. Got that big branch coming out of there. I don't know what's going to happen with that. Well, I would like to say I'm looking forward to turning the inside of this, but not necessarily the fact. I have that branch right there that I think I want to try to keep. But that thing's going to be in my way the whole time I do it. But let's go ahead and see how this works out. And I think it's in that chuck pretty good. That sounds like a piece coming out. That's what I thought. That was not looking really good. Now this just might end up getting shorter. So I'm planning on drilling down in here. It will certainly help to hollow that inside out. I think just because of the separation of the pieces and pretty much unknown wood. I will stick to these tools with the carbide inserts on them. They're going to give me a little more rigidity going down in here. Okay, let's try it out. I wouldn't say it's cutting great, but it's cutting okay. So how much do we want to open this? I'd like to leave as much of this here. I don't want to get into this opening here, so that's probably where I'll stop once I get close to that. If I just go drop down in there half an inch, it'd probably look pretty nice. Go back up here and start taking some of that out, and then we'll start to see this right there open up. And I want to turn the corner here. Let's see if I can clean this off. You know what? That's just not going to stay. Got to do it right now. Cut it off. Cut it off. It doesn't look good. This is hard. This is so hard. I hate to do this. It's going to break anyways. Alright, pretend I didn't do that. It fell off. Really, honestly, it fell off. Oh gosh, that looks better already. Let's see. Much better. Alright, this will be a slow process, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this away down to where I have more of the drilled hole, and then I need to go have a cup of coffee. That's pretty good, because that's just a little feather edge right there. Get the rest of this hollowed out down to my bottom of a drilled hole, and then we'll drill another one. I'll turn this up to 1500 RPMs. So now I need to blend. There's a step here. I need to blend this in, and I've got to be careful with my wall thickness, because this area right through here is quite a bit below the actual wall. So that's about to get really thin. And that wall is fine. Let's see what it's like right here. Yeah, that's still fine. I have probably a 1/4 inch there, but then over here I have almost a half. That's how much that dips down. So I want to be aware of that while I clean this up. And I'm not even the least bit concerned about having an equal wall, because it's this. Turn that light out, it sort of blurs things. This is one of my main interests right here. This little crevice right here. Oh, we're just basically cleaning up right now. Alright, I have the shape is pretty good, pretty smooth. I have just a couple little ridges right almost to the top. I'm going to use my negative rake scraper. Planning on getting those, and that's it. That's it. Okay, that's all I'm turning on this. Now it's time to sand it. So I will be using my Sandoflex here shortly, but before I do, I have these are little nylon bristle brushes, and this should work for cleaning out these crevices. Okay, now the Sandoflex. Clean that right up. Well, I'm ready to sand. Some areas I can get at it with the 2-inch disc. Some areas I can get at it, but I'm not going to, because this is it has a natural texture from where the bark fell off. And here's a piece of that bark that was maybe not wrapped around here, but this pieces that big came off, and the texture underneath it, the way the tree grew, is still there. I'm leaving that. Same thing with down through here, and this is where it was really badly weathered. So when I used a Sandoflex on there, it cleaned out the really bad stuff, and it left a texture, and I'm going to leave that texture as well. I'll sand the good hardwood, and we'll have quite a contrast. We're going to have a nice, smooth, probably shiny finish here, and then we're going to have a textured finish. This is going to be slow, like I said, so that's what I'll be doing. There's no reason that you should have to watch this. It might take a couple hours. So I'll be back when we are ready to put a finish on it, and when I decide what I'm going to do with the base. Well, I sanded this little root ball up the best I could. These areas I could get at, I took them up to 400. Some of the soft areas, 400 really didn't do much to it, so I'm going to leave them with a little texture. Have no idea what it's going to look like, and I think I'll just go ahead and use shellac on this. Kind of torn with that, but that's what I'm going to use, and this is the sanding sealer, which is shellac based. So I'll just go ahead and get as much sanding sealer on here as it needs. I'll get the finish on it, and I'll come back when it's ready to try to get that tenon off there. Very fragile, but I think I can get something in there to hold it while I do that. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, it's all finished, and it's time to remove this tenon. This little block that I have in here, I've reshaped it many times for different turnings, and it seems to fit in here pretty decently, so I'll use it. I'll tuck that in there so it doesn't flop so much. Bring up the tailstock. I still have my hole. Let's see how true it runs. I think it's fine. It's got all kinds of other stuff going on here. It's going to be just fine. I got quite a bit to take off because I used this in my bigger jaws just so I could make sure it was in there secure when I hollowed out the inside. Let me get maybe I'll get my 3/8 bowl gouge. Alright. It's actually running pretty good at 800, but I will slow it down here pretty soon. Alright, that's close enough, so I'm going to get this sawed off and sand it up, and then I'll be back when it is done. Here's the finished Mimosa root ball turning. It has a lot of features going on in it. For sure it was pretty challenging, but I'm very happy with the results. I finished it by applying sanding sealer and then multiple coats of shellac. I rubbed it out with my abrasive paste, not while it was turning. After it was all done, I just rubbed some of the areas out. My favorite area is right here. It's open from the very top all the way to the bottom, including going through the bottom. I think that's pretty cool. And this area here, this looks like a piece of bone to me. It just has that look. Maybe not. There's so much going on with the colors in here, it's just really, it changes every time you look at it. It's got this real dark area here, and there's a light area next to it. Then up in here, this was just part of the growth, and I sanded and hit it with my Sandiflex. Tried to clean it up the best I could, and when I put shellac on it, it turned almost black, but I actually like that. This area here was probably rotted out, and I cleaned that and got to bare wood and sanded it, and that looks good. And this area was rotted, and I cleaned it out really good, and I just put shellac on it. And I could have sanded out a little bit more, but I actually like that look down in there. It's very unnatural looking in a natural area. More of this really, really pretty wood right here, and then bordered with this bleached out looking area. The inside, same thing going on. There's multiple cracks going almost all the way through here, and of course this one. There is not much holding this piece together. This is not your normal turning, that's for sure. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed making it. I'd like to thank everyone for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And a special thanks to all my subscribers. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. If you're new to my channel and you feel so inclined, please consider subscribing. Thanks again, and until the next time, I'll see you later.